In this video, let us see July 7th Indian Express news articles. First article is related to stem reslide boost to forex inflow, RBI eases FPI NRI deposit norms. What you need to read is for GS1, GS3 economy paper, this article helps. What are the series of measures announced by RBI and why are they needed? You have to know. Let us see in detail in the article. To prevent the slide in the rupee and shore up the foreign exchange reserve, RBI announced a series of measures including relaxation in foreign investment in debt, external commercial borrowing and NRI deposits. With the rupee depreciating 4.1% to 79.30 against the US dollar in the current financial year till July 5, FPI pulling out rupees 2 lakh crore in 6 months, $50 billion being shaved off forex reserve over the last 9 months. The measures are expected to further diversify and expand the sources of forex funding, mitigate volatility and dampen the global spillover. FCNR, that is foreign currency non-resident bank and non-residential external deposits without reference to the current regulations on interest rate with effect from July 7. It has decided to increase the limit under the automatic route for external commercial borrowings from $750 billion for its equivalent per financial year billion 1.5. Consequently, the high-risk aversion has gripped financial markets, reducing surges of volatility and sell-off risk assets spillovers, including fights to safety and safe haven demand for US dollar. Next article that we are moving into is related to sending signal to China. PM wishes Dalai Lama on his 87th birthday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said on Wednesday that he called up Dalai Lama to wish him on his birthday. Modi public articulation of his call to Dalai Lama for the second year in a row comes amid the slid of India-China ties over military standoff along LAC. The phone calls to the Tibetan spiritual leader and public announcement have diplomatic significance given that Beijing calls Dalai Lama the splittist. India has maintained that two sides should be mindful of mutual sensitives, interests and concerns. The fact that Beijing has not bothered about Indian sensitives on India-China border, China-Pakistan economic corridor. Status of Jammu and Kashmir has led New Delhi to recalibrate its position. It signals that India will not hesitate to subtly dial up the rhetoric. In recent months, there have given some moves by Beijing to put the relationship back on track. In the past, Modi government has sent out mixed signals on the issue. When the Modi came to power in 2014, he invited Lobsang Sangay, then Shikyong, president of Central Tibetan Administration. Next article is all about Ilayaraja and PT Usha among 4 new RS nominations, all from South. This article you have to know about the nomination of eminent members to Rajya Sabha, constitutional provisions and what powers and privileges and immunities available to the nominated members. Okay, next article that we are moving into is related to this article is related to constitution, that is GS2 paper, that is PT Usha and Ilayaraja among the 4 new Rajya Sabha nominations, all from South. This article is related to GS2 Indian Constitution. Okay, next article that we are moving into is related to Delhi government will provide live footage to class parents, warn against the misuse. Okay, next article that we are moving into is all about subcategorization of OBC. Subcategorization of OBC, government extends terms against without panel asking for it. This is under polity and governance, GS2 paper. What you have to note, what is rational behind Union Cabinet's recent approval to 13th extension to Justice Rohini Commission. What is the need for subcategorization, challenges and what lies ahead. This article talks about Union Cabinet on Wednesday gave the 13th extension to Justice Rohini Commission, giving it time until January 31, 2023 to submit its report. With the move coming even without the commission seeking an extension, it betrays the ruling BJP fears that the report would politically boomerang and affect its effort to keep its OBC support base intact. The commission was set up on October 2, 2017 under Article 340 of the Constitution. It was tasked with the subcategorization of OBC and equitable distribution of benefits reserved for them. The move to give it another extension assumes significance also because it comes amid the growing demand for the caste consensus from the opposition parties as well as BJP allies in the NDA. But now the BJP has managed to transcend the caste lines and claim a solid OBC support base. It would be a good idea to subcategorize them. Next article that we are moving into is related to India to hold the G20 meeting in Ladakh. This article is related to G20. You have to know the G20 members. US, UK, Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, Germany, France, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, besides European Union. Pakistan voiced their opposition to India's decision to hold preparatory meetings of G20 in Jammu and Kashmir next year. Centre has proposed to hold this meeting. Okay, India and Chinese troops have been involved in the border standoff in the eastern Ladakh since May 2020. The government's proposal to hold the meeting in the Union territory is likely to be seen as a snub to China. India assumes the presidency of G20. The relation party should avoid the complicating the situation with the unilateral move. With this, the major international meet to be held in the former state since August 2019, when the JNK has stripped off its special status and divided into union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Next article that we are moving into is related to Assam cabinet okays indigenous status for 5 Muslim communities. This article is related to polity and governance GS2. You have to know about the Assam's cabinet approval for identification of 5 Assamese Muslim subgroups as indigenous Assamese Muslim community. Why this group got the nod and significance. The Assam cabinet on Tuesday approved the identification of 5 Assamese Muslim subgroups: the Gorias, Morias, Julhas, Deshis, Sayeds as indigenous Assamese Muslim communities. Socio-economic challenges faced by the community. The stated aim of the Sarma's outreach was the community's welfare. Considered distinct from Bengali-speaking Muslims who have the history of migration from present-day Bangladesh to Assam over centuries, this group of Muslims has often expressed the need for the separate identity. In the meeting, he emphasized that the uniqueness of the indigenous Assamese Muslims should be protected and preserved. Next article that we are moving into is related to polity and governance. The article talks about take down transparency and IT Act section 69A when the social media content is blocked in the Twitter lawsuit. This is the article that we are going to see in this article, and this both comes under the polity and governance. This one and this one and this one. You have to know why was the Twitter moved court against government's content blocking order. Why does it flags issues of free speech? What is section 69A of the Information Technology Act? Various initiatives of the government to facilitate electronic delivery of governance service. Is mere connectivity enough to fulfill the democratic promises of the Constitution? Several other concerns, key analysis and way forward you have to know from this articles. Okay, let us see the article in detail. Let us continue. As the Ministry of Electronics and Information conducts a week-long celebration to mark the 8 years of Digital India program, India having the largest share of digital transaction in the world, building success online platforms for vaccination and even bridging the digital divide. The Twitter tweets and even handles issues by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology under Section 69A of the IT Act 2000. As written, Twitter is a foreign Silicon Silicon Valley platform that it trades in data to sustain its commercial operation. However, it has been prompted to go to the court to protect the integrity of its platform rather than arrogant defiance against the law of India. Defiance against the laws of India. The need for disclosure emerges directly from the joint reading of Shreya Shingal and Anuradha Bashman judgments. The first concerned the constitutionality of Section 66A of the Supreme Court, while upholding the blocking powers of the government, reasoned that the writ remedies would always be available to an aggrieved person. Hence, to approach a High Court in a writ, the petitioner would require availability of the legal order. This needs for transparency prior to placing any restrictions on the internet access has been expressly directed when the Supreme Court examined the scope of the telecommunication shutdown in Jammu and Kashmir. The most recent disclosure in the last week of June revealed that Twitter upheld the number of accounts and tweets in India. Many of these belong to politicians, journalists, activists, and even global think tanks such as Freedom House. We have witnessed a similar situation in February and April 2021 when takedown orders are reportedly issued for content about the farmers' protests and criticism of union government's response to second wave of COVID-19 respectively. Another persistent infirmity has been failure to provide a prior showcase notice and opportunity to the actual users whose web content is blocked. This court challenge is not isolated, and there are regulatory proposals to increase the government control over the internet. In recently concluded public consultation to amend the IT rules 2021, rather than cure deficiencies pointed out by cross-sectoral analysis, UN special rapporteurs and high courts injuries to free expressions and privacy are being reinforced. A grievance appellate committee as a government body that would hear appeals against the decisions of social media platform to remove or not remove the content. It would incentivize the social media platform to suppress any speech that may not be palatable to the government. The public office are those who can exit the political pressure. Secondly, it would empower the government to censure the speech on grounds not stated under Section 69A of the IT Act 2000 or Article 19 Clause 2 of the Constitution. Hence, the government may even bypass the need to issue the blocking orders and instead decided to crowdsource the censorship.